Okay, so we're gonna put everything together for the past couple of days. Using the given information to plug into point slope form, and then we're gonna write it in slope intercept, which means no parentheses. Okay, y equals mx plus b, no parentheses. So we're gonna start with point slope form, y minus, and then remember you have the x minus, and then plug in what you know. So y minus, here's your y, here's your x, and this is your slope, so that's m. So y minus 4 equals 6 parentheses x minus negative 2. And then you've got minus and negative, so you need to rewrite that. Y minus 4 equals 6 parentheses x plus 2. Get rid of your parentheses, so distribute. So y minus 4 equals 6x plus 12. 6 times 2 is 12. And then you have to solve for y, so move the negative 4 to the other side, it becomes a plus 4. So y equals 6x, and then 12 plus 4 is 16. That's your answer. On number 2, you are given points. So I have to find my slope first. Negative 2, 1, 3, negative 4. So find your slope, and remember you need to subtract. 3 minus negative 2 is positive 5. Negative 4 minus 1 is a negative 5. Swing it over. Negative 5 divided by 5 is a negative 1. Okay, so your slope, or m, is negative 1. Okay, now it doesn't matter which point you use. So use the point, I'm just going to pick the first one. So y minus 1 equals negative 1 parentheses x minus negative 2. I have minus and negative. So y minus 1 equals negative 1 parentheses x plus 2. Now I need to distribute the negative 1 to get rid of the parentheses. So you have y minus 1 equals negative 1x minus 2. And then move negative 1 to the other side, and so negative 1 becomes a plus 1. So y equals negative 1x, and negative 2 plus 1 is a negative 1. So y equals negative x minus 1. Part 3. So I want to write an equation of slope-intercept form passing through a point, and it's parallel. Now remember, parallel means that the slope will be the same. So you want to have the same slope. So you got your x and your y. Slope is negative 2. The slope of a line that's parallel will also be negative 2, so it'll be the same. The x is negative 1, the y is 5. So we're going to say, I'm going to set this up for first, y minus, and then you got your x minus. So y minus 5 equals negative 2 parentheses x minus negative 1. Remember, two negatives make a positive. So y minus 5 equals negative 2 parentheses x plus 1. Now you need to distribute your negative 2, so multiply that. So y minus 5 equals negative 2x minus 2. Negative 2 times 1. And then you need to move negative 5 to the other side, and it becomes a positive 5. So y equals negative 2x, and then you've got negative 2 plus 5 is a positive 3. That transfer, y equals negative 2x plus 3. On part 4, instead of parallel, it's perpendicular. Now remember, two things have to happen to be perpendicular. It has to be opposite, and it has to be reciprocal. It has to be those two things. Reciprocal is when you flip it. Opposite, if it's positive, it's negative. If it's negative, it's positive. Okay? So you've got your x and your y, and my slope is negative 3. So slope is negative 3. The perpendicular, the opposite of negative is a positive. So you're going to make this a positive, and then you've got to switch it, so it's 1 over 3. Okay, because I had to flip. So positive 1/3, the x is negative 1, the y is 5. So now write your equation. I'm going to start with point slope first. Y minus 5 equals positive 1/3 parentheses x minus negative 1. Remember, minus and negative, you're going to write that as a plus. So y minus 5 equals 1/3 parentheses x plus 1. Now distribute. So I'm gonna say 1/3 times x, so 1/3 times one. So y minus 5 equals 1/3 x plus 1/3. And then the opposite of subtracting 5 is to add 5. So y equals 1/3 x. And then in your calculator, you can say 1/3 plus 5. So 1 divided by 3 plus 5, and you'll get 16/3. And you can leave it like that, 16/3. Just leave it as a fraction. Okay, that's your y-intercept. On part 5, remember we had vertical lines. Vertical lines, that is your up and down line. The horizontal, from the H, remember the horizontal goes across. So horizontal lines are side to side and they have a slope of 0. Vertical lines are undefined. So the vertical lines are undefined. The horizontal lines have a slope of 0. Vertical lines have an equation of x. So if it's vertical, it's going to be x equals. If it's horizontal, it's going to be y equals. Okay? So on number 5, I want something that, I want a line that is parallel, so that means they do not touch, to x equals 3. Now x, that is my up and down, so x is a vertical line. So if I want it to be parallel, and it's going to go through -2, 4, so -2, 4, I want it to be parallel to this line right here, then it needs to go up and down as well. So that's going to be x equals -2. Okay. If I want it to be parallel to a line that's undefined, now an undefined slope, remember that's the vertical line. So if I want it to be parallel and I don't want it to touch, see those would not touch. So it needs to be also be the x. So x equals 7. If I want one that's parallel to y equals, now the y equals, it goes through the y equals 3. So I'm going to cut through the y. So that is a horizontal line. And if I want to be parallel, I also want it to be horizontal. So -1, 2, I also want it to be parallel. So I look at the y. So y equals 2. It has to be horizontal to be parallel. If I want a parallel, something parallel to a line with 0 slope. Now, if you've got 0 slope, then you're a horizontal line. And if I want to be parallel and go through -2, 5, -2, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I want it to be parallel to 0 slope, then it also has to be horizontal. So I look at the y. So y equals 5. If I want a line that's perpendicular, now remember perpendicular means they're going to intersect. Y equals 3, y is horizontal. So that means if I want it to be perpendicular, my other line has to go through it. So that's going to be vertical, that's going to be my x. So x equals 4. On number 10, if I want a line that's perpendicular, and remember this is what perpendicular is, to a line with undefined slope. Okay, undefined slope, so undefined, that's my vertical. Okay, I want one that's perpendicular, so it has to intersect. So if it's horizontal, that is going to be the y, and so y equals 5. And that is how you write equations of vertical, horizontal lines.